Okay, I'd like to call the special call city council meeting for October 13th, 2021 of the city of Lake City to order. Everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance, remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for your guidance. We ask that you guide us in our deliberations this evening, that what we do is in the best of our community and pleasing in your eyes. We ask that you look after our community and our troops. And in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council has opened its public meetings since 1968. The city code has prohibited any person from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing the city council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There's only one approved manner of addressing the city council, that is to be recognized to speak from the podium. Ms. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hill?
Here.
Mr. Jefferson?
Here.
Mr. Sampson?
Here.
Mayor Witt?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Coberline?
Here.
Chief Gilmore?
Okay. We did have, room for, public to address the council. We have several. And before we do that, we need to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move, Mayor. Second.
Motion second to approve the agenda is published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So if everybody could be real brief and definitely stay within the 3 minutes, we'll do the public comments and then we'll move on to our business for this evening. The first one is, Mr. Glenn L. Bowden.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Glenn L. Bowden, 1156 Northeast Baskin Norris Drive. As each of you remember, some months ago, last year, it was Councilman Green who made the motion that the Confederate monument be relocated. It's my understanding that the former city manager, Mr. Joe Heffenberg, has started that process. I think it's a relevant question to be asked of these candidates, how they feel about it. Do they, if they got selected, would they be in favor of the relocation of this monument or not? And that would they be willing to consider having it removed or relocated before the Old Ulster Festival in February? But I think it's relevant to know how this candidate would feel, even though the person don't have to necessarily agree with Councilman Green's approach, but Councilman Green did support him. And so therefore I feel like he was representing his constituents and didn't. So when you get to your question, if one of you would raise that question, I would appreciate it, because as a citizen of Lake City, I would like to know how this particular candidate feel about the relocation of the monument. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Victoria Cooper.
Hello, Mayor and the members of the council. I'm coming up to talk about my mother and possibly being appointed to District 14 City Council vacancy. I don't always like my mom 100% of the time. I'm a teenager, that's going to be true. But growing up with her and all the things that she has done for me, I have seen how much that she truly cares about the community. Recently, I saw the college that I want to go to, and I thought about how am I going to get there? What am I going to have to do? And I immediately thought, I have been growing up with all of those opportunities to get there because of my mother, the person who has showed me that she cares about not only me, but the community. Since I was really young, I have always been given different opportunities. I have always been told that I need to push myself further than what's expected. And because of that, I have learned so much. I have seen that whenever you put effort into the things that you care about, you can get those things that you care about done. And that is what she has done. And the many years that I have been able to go and be there side by side, she has opened up our opportunities for the community. At my school, she started a performing arts program. And at the performing arts program, she made it where a bunch of students from our school could learn about different cultures and could teach other students about different cultures. every year in February, she takes us up to Fort Mose and she teaches us what happened there. She lets us explore the city and learn about that history. And it's because she truly cares about the community and what happens in the community. And I hope that you can take in consideration what she has done for many of the students and children in this community whenever you think about possibly appointing her to District 14 City Council member. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ms. Blondell Johnson. Ms. Blondell here. Okay.
Good afternoon, Council.
Name.
I'm concerned with the issue, as Mr. Bowden, with the monument that's out there. It is time for it to come down. I think it's time that we made those changes. I was here when it was put up. It's now time for it to come down. I'm here to also speak on behalf of Ms. Coker. I've been by her side while so many things was happening. The trip to Fort Mose, I've been there with the children while they were there, while they were learning their history, while they were learning all the other things that was important to us, with several and numerous community events that was happening around us that they truly need to know. And I'm here to support her. Please keep those events and what has happened in the past and what can happen to our future here in Columbia County.
Thank you. Next is Carl Kissing.
Hey, good evening, good evening. I'm here to read a letter my son, Dr. Christopher Essing, wrote on behalf of one of the candidates. I hope that the letter finds you all in good health and good humor. I do wish that I was writing this recommendation under different circumstances, but it's my hope that this moment will make a turning point in the city in which our local community and government begins to get back on its feet and reestablish the trust and support of the citizenry and the people. Like many others, I was shocked to see the events of the past few months unfold and saddened when Chris Green submitted his resignation. I believe that he was a strong candidate that represented not only his district, but the interest of all the people of Lake City. Even if I did not always agree with him, I felt that he was honest and had integrity. It is my hope that the city moves to replace him, that they will find another candidate that holds similar attributes. As you move forward to make your selection, I believe the candidate that you choose should be from the same district. I feel strongly that it would be unfair to the voters of that district to choose someone who is not fully settled within the community. I think that it's important to have someone who's willing to fight for their interests of themselves and their neighbors and not the conflicting interests when having to vote on various issues before the city. I will also like to see someone who has strong ties to both the community and city and who has a proven track record in fighting for the community and working to make the city a better place. I would like to see candidates who know politics, understand the Robert rules, and is familiar with the charter enough not to break it, and the public trust along with their actions. I think that the ideal candidate for the council seat is Miss Be Faithful Coker. Having worked with her on many occasions, I believe she has a proven record in politics and advocacy. I first met Bee back in 2014 when she came to listen to me speaking. We sat and at the table had a long discussion. And we'll skip some of this other part. Soon after the event, Be Faithful asked me if I would serve as president of the Coalition of 8 for nonprofit organizations linked together by their desire to build stronger communities. Our Community Cares Coalition was then first formed with the goal of strengthening the economic, social, and community fabric of Lake City through a multivariate approach of community development. I am deeply impressed with Bee's organizational skills as well as her tenacity to fully research and understand each topic presented to her. This is a skill that I will think serve Bee well as a city council seat. And he wrote too long of stuff about her. Be faithful. I've known her myself. She would be a great candidate for the city council seat. She is in many different community projects as far as kids and the fabric of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Tim Estergren.
I'm not a big public speaker, and so just bear with me. I'm here to advocate on the faithful's behalf, District 14. I've known her for a while now. She is very intelligent. She's very community. She does a lot for the community. She is involved in a lot of organizations. She is very big with the children, not just her own, who are fabulous, but she's a single mother and those kids are fabulous. That is because of her. She is a no nonsense. I think she would be wonderful. First thing is she's a woman and we need a woman. She knows the chart. She's not afraid to stand up to anybody. She will not back down. She loves this community. She loves the county and the city together. She loves to participate. I've seen her in at the Blanche, she put on a performance and included everybody that she could find, judges, attorneys, everybody. And it was wonderful. That's how she is. She doesn't exclude anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what religion, what race, it doesn't matter. That's how she is. This community is her community. This city is her city. And I guarantee you, if she's on the city council, that she will fight until the end. That's just how she is. She will stand up to what she believes or what she believes. I've seen her do plays with her group. She has a group that does, I can't tell you right off the hand, but I'm sure she will tell you. And they're wonderful. They do bit pieces on history, people in history, and she does such a good job with those kids, teaching them history, and that's so important. Her daughter gets up here, and her son, but her daughter, that's what she's teaching them, is the history, and that is real important. I did not attend any of these meetings or county until I met her. And I have not missed just one meeting since. And that's because of her. And I'm so glad I have. I've learned a lot about everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Annie Hopkins.
Good afternoon, good evening. I am here to stand before you to put my vote up for Be Faithful. I am a teacher here in Columbia County, and I have had the pleasure of dealing with Be through the school system. And it has been a wonderful experience for all the different things that the previous people came up and spoke about in terms of like how she has rallied different groups to bring them together. I know that at our school, she started a performing arts club and opened up the eyes of so many of our students to the different cultures that are within our school, exposing them on a monthly basis, hitting each and every culture so that the children were able to learn so much more than they would have in a normal classroom setting. As a parent as well, I have been able to experience that with my children and all the different things that she has exposed them to, or at least opened the door for them to experience things having to do within Columbia County, as well as going into Alachua County and experiencing things there as well. I love that she loves everyone. And she speaks primarily, at least in my circle, for the children. And that's a very important thing because the children are who we are doing all the things that we do for. And having her being a voice and an advocate for them, an advocate for community has really been a blessing. I'm not from here. I did not grow up here, and having come here, Be Faithful was truly the first person that really helped me to understand much more about Columbia County and its history and the beauty that it has to offer. I also wanted to say that something else that I've never done before. People have always had book clubs. She invited me, as well as my daughter, to join a book club here in Columbia County. And I got to meet some really fascinating people and have open conversations about culture and the history of Columbia County and how we interact with each other. And I would love to see her be a part of making some of the decisions and things that are for Columbia County, for our schools, and for our children, our future. And I just wanted to say that I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa Hopkins. There, Lisa Hopkins here. I guess that's it. Okay, so that's the public people, comment people that signed up for it. Next is discussion action by city council. We've got the order of what they're doing and the question and any other business before we start. If not, then we will begin. Our first one is Ken O'Shea. He'll come to the podium. I want to, first of all, thank everybody for applying that did. I want to thank the people that have shown coming here today. Welcome, everybody. Okay, and then we have some qualifying questions first. If you resided in City Council District 14 for the past year,
Yes, sir.
and are you a qualified person?
Yes, sir.
Do you meet the minimum requirements to be considered for District 14 City Council vacancy?
That's where the question gets complicated, sir. I would like to speak on that. According to our charter, I do meet the qualifications. If you ask a local voter, they will probably tell you I meet the qualifications as well. But if you look at our Florida Constitution and the interpretation by the Attorney General, I do not meet the qualifications. Amendment 4 only gave returning citizens their right to vote. It did not give us the right to hold council, hold any position in any state function for that matter, or sit on a jury. Unfortunately, that is the opinion of the Attorney General until it's decided differently. I may be out of the running. I have met all my obligations of my sentence. I paid my fines. I did have my voting rights restored. I gave you a document that shows that I have diligently been working on a clemency hearing. I believe that you'll see, I first applied, well, you don't have the first letter from them, I'm sorry. I first applied in 2003 under Jeb Bush. That was an automatic application that was done by direction of the governor. And then I applied again, I was denied, and I applied again in October 22nd of 2009. I was notified by the Office of Executive Clemency on April 5th of 2013 that I was in line, and it was a first in, first out type situation. Well, that is not exactly true. As we change governors, the rules change on executive clemency. Today, under DeSantis, it is the only way to get a clemency hearing is for the governor or a member of his board to pull the trigger and set the wheels in motion. I was contacted this afternoon by Dan. Let's see, I take notes here, so much to remember. Dan Hartley, he is the assistant and aide of Chuck Brannon, our state representative for District 10. He said he would have that answer for me today. However, when he called, he did not have that answer and said that he took more information from me and said that he would have me an answer tomorrow on where I stand on the clemency issue. So at this point, I have to reluctantly step aside because I cannot do what I need to do here and let these other people come to the podium and speak.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the consideration.
Okay. Our next applicant is Andy Chastain.
Good evening, Mayor Witt and City Council. My name is Abby Chastain, and I'm excited to be here tonight to speak to you about my interest in the City Council District 14 seat. I'm a lifelong resident of Lake City, and my family has established deep roots here, and I'm so proud to call this my home. My family has owned and operated a restaurant business in Lake City for the last 45 years, and I have been blessed to grow up in it. I have met a lot of people. I've worked alongside various types of people. I have served the public from a very young age, and it helped me to also create a very strong sense of community. As you read my letter, I'm sure you realize that I am not your typical politician. I would venture to say I am far from it, but I feel like that's what sets me apart. I am not naive enough to think that I have answers to everything, but what I do believe and what I do know is that if we work together towards common goals and that we are all on the same path, working together, that successes can be achieved and positive strides can definitely be made. I believe that the work of the City Council has to be a group effort, and we all have to work together for all of the citizens of Lake City, not just the ones in our particular district, but across the board. I've always been known to be a team player, to be trustworthy, honest, and fair. I have an even temperament, and I also understand the importance of listening to all sides of a situation before making a decision. I was a school teacher in one of my former jobs, and that was very much a big part of it was being a good listener and listening to everyone, parents, students, administrators, everyone. While I may not have attended many council meetings in person recently, I have definitely watched them online, and I have stayed in tune to the current issues, and I have kept myself educated and informed by talking to different members of the community and just staying on top of the different issues that we're facing. While I know that I would represent District 14 if I were appointed, I also understand the importance of working together for all of the districts. We have to work together, we have to be fair, and we have to have common goals for everyone that is involved. Throughout my life, I've always valued people, I have valued relationships, and I have valued community. I've always made it a goal of mine to bring people together. I know that we're better together, and when we work together, we are definitely more successful. As a little girl, I was blessed to learn to serve this community and bring people together one meal at a time. And as an adult, I look forward to hopefully bringing this community back together again. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you resided in the City Council District 14 for the past year?
I have.
You're a qualified member.
I
You meet the minimum requirements to be considered for District 14 City Council vacancy.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then the City Council members will take turns and ask one question of the candidates. Mr. Jefferson?
I have the first question. Ms. Chastain, please tell me about your education and or skill set.
Well, I am a graduate of Columbia High School, the class of 2000. I received my AA and AS degree from Lake City Community College, now Florida Gateway College. And I also obtained my bachelor's degree in elementary education from St. Leo University, also here at the Lake City campus. I am a former educator with the Columbia County School System. I taught first grade for 6 years at Westside Elementary. I was the marketing director for the Lake City Columbia County Chamber of Commerce for over 6 years. And through that opportunity, I also was the marketing arm for the Itch-Tuckney Partnership. Through all of those experiences at the chamber, I was able to work with the private and public sector. I worked with businesses, large and small, on a regular basis, helped create community events for all kinds of things to bring people together in our community. I raised funds by generating sponsorships for businesses, large and small. I worked alongside many great leaders who taught me many invaluable skills that I will always carry with me. And I also completed Dale Carnegie and Leadership Lake City, which I also helped to facilitate while I was an employee at the Chamber of Commerce. I am currently the marketing director and public relations director at Douglas & Douglas Law Firm here in Lake City. And through my job now, I am very involved in the community. I get to build and foster relationships with our clients, help to maintain a positive brand for our firm, and just support the overall growth and success of the law firm.
Okay. Next is Mr. Hill.
How you doing, Ms. Chastain?
Good.
Would you share with me your knowledge of our community?
Absolutely. So as I said, I'm a lifelong resident of Lake City, just a few months shy of 40 years. I am the daughter of Robert Chastain, who is also a lifelong resident, and he is a little over 75 years. So I feel like I have had a lot of just background in this community. I was born into a family that has been here for a very long time. I was raised in a family business where we were involved in the community and served all kinds of people throughout the community for my whole life. I was very fortunate to be there from the time I was old enough to walk around when my nose was at the edge of the table up until now when they're operating the food truck. I get to still be behind the scenes sometimes. So like I said, I've been able to be in contact with the community for a very long time. I have, as I said in my letter, lived, worked, and played here. I've helped put on community events, hopefully have brought a positive impact to our community through bringing people together. Through my educational career in the school system, I was also able to be a part of the community and impact our future leaders of our community. I've lived in District 14 for over 14 years. I purchased my own home 5 years ago and rehabbed it and put a lot of love into it. I love where I live. I love this city. My parents' restaurant was in downtown Lake City. My current job is also in downtown Lake City, so I'm in contact with business owners in the area. I know of concerns and things that happen within the city area with businesses. And also another thing that I learned a lot about and consider myself to have a good amount of knowledge is about Alligator Lake, which is also in my district. When I was at the chamber and was the marketing arm for the Educate Me Partnership, I went out into the school system and did an educational program with all of the children about the importance of Alligator Lake and us protecting our water resources here in our area, because everything that we do in our city eventually affects the Educate Me River and our water resources. So I was able to gain a lot of knowledge about that part of our community as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Sampson?
Hello. My question is, please share what organizations and or community involvement you are active in.
Well, I am a member of the board for the foundation at the Columbia County School System. I'm also on the fundraising and events committee for United Way. And I'm also a member of the North Florida Young Professionals Group here in Lake City, which through that, I am not an active member of Rotary, but Noah Walker, who leads that, he is. And so I have been given the opportunity to help with a few projects that have been Rotary sponsored, including the recent painting of the CHS Stadium. And also we built and installed the garden boxes out at Richardson Community Center months back. So through that, I've been able to touch a few other civic organizations. And then also through my job, Patrick, who owns a law firm, he is a member of Kiwanis. And so through my job, I'm able to help with some Kiwanis sponsored events, as well as we participate with the Christmas Dream Machine every year. And we just signed up to once again help with the annual drive at Catholic Charities.
Okay. Are there any additional questions from any member of council on the information you have heard today or on the information provided in the letter of interest?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Chastain, tell me how you feel about the relocation of the monument, the Confederate monument in City Park.
So my thoughts on that are, I feel like if it is a fiscally responsible move to move it to the cemetery, I think that that would be a good idea. If it made sense fiscally. But I also do believe that it is a part of history, whether it stays or whether it is moved. And history is not something that we can do away with.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Do you have any questions of us?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. The next is Ms. B. Coker.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Okay, have you resided in City Council District 14 for the past year?
Yes, I am.
And are you a qualified member?
Yes, I am.
And do you meet the minimum requirements to be considered for the District 14 City Council race?
Yes, I do.
Okay, if you take 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're the best candidate.
As I stated, my name is B. Coker. I'm the executive director of It's About My Efforts. Fancy title, no pay, because I enjoy volunteering. I enjoy working with the students, the elderly citizens. I enjoy being of help where I'm needed. And so with that comes a sacrifice, and that sacrifice for the past 12 years have been that I focus on helping to build community versus building a bank account. So I've worked for
prior to arriving back in Lake City, and I've been back for 12 years. I worked in the legal field for 25 years with corporate America and law firms. I have a small business consulting practice that I operate out of here in Lake City, and through that, I have been able to meet a lot of citizens, help a lot of them just figure out what it is they want to do. My fascination, I believe children are who we've got to focus our energy on. And so I spend a great deal of time helping to create programs that help them develop leadership skills. I work with students all across Columbia County, and I work with students outside of Columbia County. I've worked with not-for-profit organizations, for-profit organizations. I've worked with elected officials. I've worked with important officials by their own estimation. I've worked with women, men, people who liked me, people who didn't like me. I've worked with all races of people. I enjoy people. I think one of my attributes is that it doesn't matter who you are. Whatever the goal is, that's what I focus on. That's what I believe my reputation is, that I focus on it. And I believe working together with citizens and businesses and young people focused on the common goal of making a stronger Lake City, that's what we can do. That's what I'd help do if appointed to fill Chris Green's seat.
The city council members will take turns and ask one question of the candidate. The first one is Mr. Jefferson.
Thank you, Ms. Coker. Ms. Coker, will you please tell us about your education and our skill set you would bring to this council?
So I have a bachelor's degree in business management from Mercer University. I have a special business administration credential from Stetson School of Business on that degree. I have 3 years of law school, and I have 2 years of education to obtain a PhD in occupational psychology, which I do intend to complete. I have an extensive amount of experience working with not-for-profits, working to coordinate the workings, interactions of citizens. I enjoy financial planning such that we've done a significant amount of fundraising. I've done a significant amount of coordination, project management, event planning, mentoring, tutoring. If it touches businesses, I think I've been involved in some capacity. And frankly, I enjoy advocacy. So.
Mr. Hill.
Yes, Ms. Coker, would you please share with us your knowledge of our community?
So as I stated, I've worked with different facets of the community. So I've worked with small businesses to help get started. A lot of people come to me when they have ideas and they need help putting them together. So I've helped a significant amount of people to just get their ideas together. Blundell sends a lot of people. She's a catch-all for the community. And so when she catches them, she throws them over to me and I help them find resources that can get them situated. Blundell works with a lot of elderly people. So through her over the last 12 years, I have developed a reputation of being able to identify resources within our community and outside of our community to help elderly people. So in all districts, not just District 14, but 10, 12, 13, and throughout the community, I've created programs that provided home repairs to elderly people, provided meals to elderly people, transportation to them. I've worked with other organizations to help streamline the resources for those citizens. I've provided summer camps to youth, not just in Columbia County, but other counties as well. I've worked to identify programs. We've put on art and cultural events. I've worked within the schools. I have really worked throughout Columbia County helping to identify where people are needed. The name of our organization is It's About My Efforts for a reason. And the reason is sometimes we focus too much on larger parts of processes instead of starting small with what effort you're able to extend. And so that's what I do. That's what the reputation is for. I identify problems and I use my effort coupled with efforts from as many people as I can find to work together. Ron Williams likes to joke and tell people that I have a way of forcing people to do things. My daughter would tell you, I don't force anyone to do anything. I just refuse to accept no until you tell me emphatically the answer is no. So if you tell me that, I'll stop coming. However, I'm just going to change the question and keep coming back to you. And I think Mr. Coberline can attest to that. I just change the question and keep asking until I understand how we can get it done. And that's the reputation. I work with everyone until we can get it done. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter how they feel about me, how I feel about them. We work together until we get it done. It's easy to do that when you have children, when you are working around children constantly, because you are setting the example for them. And so if the children don't see that we're able to work together beyond all the differences that we present, then they have no reason to do so. So I've worked throughout this community with just about every organization within the community. And we've created some pretty significant events that I'm proud of, and hopefully it has made Lake City proud as well.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes, Ms. Coker, please share what organizations and or community involvement you're involved in.
Currently, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
or you can go historical too.
Okay.
I know there's a bunch.
So currently I'm the executive director of It's About My Efforts. It's just a title, just, means I do a lot of work. I'm the secretary of our Community Cares Coalition up under Dr. Essing. I'm a member of the School Advisory Council at Belmont Academy. I'm a member of Gateway Arts. I am a team leader for 4-H. I am affiliated through my children with Mensa High IQ Society and Intertel High IQ Society. I'm a member of Florida Butterfly Association. I work with CHS Drama Club. I work with the Historic Museum. I'm the organizer for the Ambassador Leadership Council. That's the leadership group that helps develop young leaders from throughout the community. So historically, I have sat on the State Department of Education's faith-based and community outreach organization. I've sat on, as a community representative, the Florida Council on the Social Status of Black Men and Boys. I've sat on the NAACP's board. I've sat on SCLC's board. I've sat on different schools throughout Columbia County. I've sat on their school advisory boards. I've sat on their PTO organizations. I've worked with Take Stock in Children. I've been a member of the chamber. I've been a member of some paralegal associations. And I volunteer really wherever there's need.
Okay, are there any additional questions from any member of council on the information you have heard today or on the information provided in the letter?
Yes, Ms. Coker, same question to you. How do you feel about the Confederate Monument in City Park being relocated?
I feel that citizens have a right to voice their concern and desire to the council. And as representatives of the constituents, that council members make a decision as to what happens. And they make that decision after having heard from citizens and looking them directly in their face and explaining to them why the decision being made is best for the city. So if appointed as a member of the council, I would join the team of council members who would look the citizens in their face and explain why the decision is being made. So.
Any other questions?
I have one question, Mayor. Ms. Coker, and I'll take a quote from your presentation that you presented to this council that I would like you to expand on for maybe 30 seconds. And it said, most of my time is spent planning, organizing, and recruiting people to create and develop opportunities to help young people find their way. Can you expand on that for?
So I have found that the best way to figure out what needs are is really to just go sit in the environment. So I volunteer at schools, I volunteer around young people. And so for me, they're the basis of planning. I sit up under them, I interview them and write about them in February and throughout the year at Family Magazine, Lake City Reporter. And so I just listen to them. And so they basically tell me what their aspirations are, what their needs are, how they want to live in the future. And I take that and create building blocks. I create a plan today to help get them there tomorrow. Because if they're able to see that the future that is theirs is being created, the planning for it is occurring right now. It gives adults a target, but it gives young people as well something to aspire to. It helps them focus in their education. It helps them focus in their planning. And quite frankly, it keeps all of us aligned on the same goal. We're not trying to create a tomorrow that doesn't include them. The tomorrow we're creating is for them to take charge. And if they see that we've cared about their future, then they'll care about the duration of the time. And we've given them a roadmap to do the same thing for the next generation to come.
Any other questions? All right, do you have any questions of us?
I do, because unfortunately, you guys, question us and you don't get to tell us what it is you think is your strength and opportunity as a council, and what exactly do you need from a council member? So what type of council member do you see being able to fill the void that exists? How do you see your team player based on your strengths and weaknesses?
To support someone that's, like I say, a team player. We have the same views. We can all agree to disagree. So that's what I'm kind of looking for in a council person.
I agree. I think somebody that's knowledgeable about finances, knowledgeable about the community, and independent, represents their constituents. Yes.
And that's what I look for, a person that is not a individualist, but someone that has the outlook and the concern for the entire city, the holistic point of view. Sometimes we have to look broad and have to look beyond just our individual district. We have to consider the needs of the entire city, and we need a visionary.
Yeah, so I would say that a team player is a crucial piece, but when you know what's right, you stand up for that regardless of anybody else and what they say. And I think to me, that's the most crucial piece.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Stephen Douglas. All right, thank you for coming. Got a few questions. You resided at City Council District 14 for the past year.
Yes, sir. I've lived in District 14 as is now drawn since 1998.
Are you a qualified voter?
Yes, I am.
And do you meet the minimum requirements to be considered for the District 14 City Council vacancy?
Yes, I do.
And would you take 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're the best candidate for this position?
Yes, sir. Good evening, City Council members, Madam Clerk, City Manager. My name is Stephen Douglas. I was born and raised here in Lake City, Florida. Graduated from Columbia High School in 1984. After high school, I left Lake City to pursue a college degree. I ended up in Jacksonville, Florida in the banking industry. I worked for First Union National Bank up until 1998. First Union National Bank was the sixth largest bank in the country at that time. I moved back to Lake City in 1998 to pursue a business, an entrepreneur, to become a small business owner. I now own and operate mini storage and record storage of Lake City. I've got 6 locations here in Lake City, Columbia County, facilities between both Lake City and Columbia County, and my main office is in the city limits. I'm here today to ask for the seat of the District 4 City Council, vacated seat, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. The city council members will take turns and ask one question of the candidate, Mr. Jefferson.
Mr. Douglas, please tell us about your educational and/or skill set you would bring to this council.
Yes, sir, I sure will. Again, I graduated from Columbia High School in 1984. I have an Associates of Science degree in Computer Electronics Technology, and I have a bachelor's degree in finance. And my skill set is, I've got 20 plus years of being a business owner, again, a successful business here in Lake City, Columbia County. I've done everything from the bottom to the top up. I'm real strong in finance accounting. That's my background because I'm from the banking industry. Human resources, policies and procedures, procurement. I've done it all in the past 20 plus years, and that's what I bring to the table. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Douglas, could you share with us the knowledge of our community?
Yes, sir, I sure will. Again, I was born and raised here in Lake City, Florida. I remember downtown Lake City when it was a metropolis, basically. There was nothing out there on Highway 98 West. I remember downtown Lake City being a hub. Even though I lived outside in the country, in Columbia County, we always come to Lake City, downtown Lake City. JCPenney's was here, McCroy's. We had the theater here. The Memorial Stadium is where we played all our football, youth football, which I started when I was 7 years of age, up to high school. So I remember the good times in downtown Lake City. I understand that the downtowns are never going to be like they were back in the 70s and 80s. But I think we're moving forward with the restaurant businesses opening up. That's a big improvement downtown. And I think that we're moving forward for some niche retailers. So I look forward to being a part of that. And again, I'm invested in Lake City. Invested a lot in both personal and business. And I want to bring myself and bring my skill set and offer that to you guys to better the community.
Mr. Sampson.
Mr. Douglas, please share what organizations and or community involvement you're active in.
Okay, again, I moved back to Lake City in 1998, so I'll start with some past organizations. Starting in 2004, I was on the board of directors for the Lake City Columbia County Chamber of Commerce. I was on the board for the Lakeshore Hospital Authority Board. I was on the County Charter Review here in 2019, 2020. Currently, those are past boards. Currently, I'm on the Economic Development Advisory Board for the county. And pretty much since 2004, I've been on at least one board throughout the years and 2 simultaneously on some occasions. And involvement in activity, is that next? Is that part of the question?
Yes, or other community involvement.
Okay. Again, small business owner, successful business owner. I've donated to the Sheriff's Boys Ranch, been active in Columbia County Senior Services, back to the Chamber of Commerce. I was on the board, but I stay active with them. Youth baseball, I've always donated to youth baseball, youth cheerleading, youth football, and just individuals. As you guys know, there's always someone that needs something, so we try to give back. And that's always been my philosophy. If I was to ever come back and be successful, then I'll pay ahead and try to help out and move somebody that's just starting out and move them on up the ladder per se. And that's always been my strive in doing so.
Okay. Are there any additional questions from any member of council on the information you have heard today or any information provided in the letter of interest?
Mr. Douglas, how do you feel about the relocation of the monument, Confederate monument in our city park?
Councilman Hill, that's a toughie. I'll try not to skirt the issue because that's not my intention. I'm not sure how to answer that question, not knowing who owns that piece of property. My understanding is the county still owns that piece of property. So I want the monument to stay within our area, within Columbia County. If there's too much bad, let me see how I can say that. If there's too much negativity with it staying within the city of Lake City limits at this particular park, then I would possibly want to move it to another location. But one thing, I definitely think that monument needs to stay within Lake City or Columbia County for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Do you have any questions of us?
I do not, but I appreciate your time very much.
Thank you. Okay. Ricky Jernigan. Okay, appreciate you coming here. Have you resided in the city council District 14 for the past year?
Yes, Mayor, I have. For example, I have been a resident in that district for about 31 years plus.
Okay, are you a qualified voter?
Yes, sir, I sure am a qualified voter. For example, I was registered to vote when I was 18 when I joined the military.
Okay, and do you meet the minimum requirements to be considered for District 14 city council vacancy?
Yes, sir, Mayor. As I stated previously, I have lived in District 14 for 1 year or more, and I'm a registered voter. I have also petitioned, signed that in the previous election that I was in that particular district.
Okay. And would you take 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are the best candidate for this position?
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, I just want to let you know that I am an Army veteran. I've lived in the district for a number of years. I have ran for this position, for this seat on several occasions, but to no avail. I have retired from the Florida Department of Correction after 38 and a half years. At the conclusion of my career, I was a lieutenant and held several positions throughout my Florida Department correction career. I've been involved in community for many years. I'm a governor's mentor. I was given the honor to serve as the third Circuit Grievance Committee. I was given the honor to do that. I'm committed to the city and the people. I serve as a councilman of District 14. I will work well together with other councilmen and city officials to make our city great again. There's no I in team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. City council members will take turns and ask one question of the candidate.
Mr. Jernigan, please tell us about your education and our skill set you would bring to this council.
Yes, sir. That's a good question, Mr. Jefferson. I attended Florida Gateway College. At that time, it was Lake City Community College. I am a human diversity instructor. With that being said, from what I have learned throughout my whole life, I truly believe I can bring this community together for the betterment in the city and the county as well.
Mr. Hill.
Mr. Jernigan, would you share with us your knowledge of our community?
That's a good question also, Mr. Hill. I have lived in this community my whole entire life. I'm 60 years old. I've attended grade school all the way up to Columbia High School, graduated from there. We have many problems in our community, don't get me wrong. However, I should work wherever I can to solve them. I have always been passionate about attending city council meetings and gaining knowledge of the way city government works and provide insight into areas of concern.
Okay, Mr. Sampson?
Mr. Jernigan, please share what organizations and or community involvement you're active in.
That's a very good question, Mr. Todd. Thank you very much. I'm a hometown recruiter for the Florida Crown Career Source Centers in Stark, Gainesville, and Lake City. I believe in putting people to work, but we got to get them to work. I am a high school football, basketball official for the surrounding areas. I'm a member of the Mid-Florida Official Association. I am involved in the Columbia County Recreation Department with our youth whenever it's called upon. I am also a member of Souls Harbor Church of God in Christ, where my mom attends. So when I say that, I get kind of teared up. But anyway, I'm moving right along. I have been involved in this community for so many years as time go on. And that won't change, whether I get that seat or I'm behind the scenes. I'm gonna work together with every city council and the mayor, and even with the attorney here. I come in with open mind, open heart. And I definitely believe in the police department. I've been in law enforcement my whole life, even when I was in the military. So I believe in working together with every community, with every side, no matter what side of the rail track you may come from. I was raised over there, however, I'm over here now, but I believe in helping wherever I can. When you talk about organizations, you talk about the police department, you talk about the fire department, that's things that we're gonna need throughout this city. And instead of thinking about getting rid of them or taking funds away from them, we should be pouring money into them and helping them wherever we can. Of course, as law enforcement, a lot of times what happens, we don't know everything. But with the community involvement and you knowing what you know, of course, that would help the chief, assistants, and the officers here, because they got a really tough job. When I say tough, I mean that. I pray for them every single day. And I ask, whenever I see one, I walk up to one and I say, hey, have a good day. Make sure that you take care of yourself. Be safe. So I'm involved in just about everything that I can. I also, with the Highway Patrol, I was an auxiliary with them. So we got to keep our city safe with these citizens that we have now. So anything I could do to help the city council and the Columbia County, I'm willing to do that. Of course, being a registered voter, so to say, I believe in our governor. I believe in Chuck Brandon. I believe in Hunter Peeler. I believe in those kind of people. Yes, Jennifer Brandon. I believe in those kind of people because all they're trying to do is pull us together for the betterment of our city. Thank you very much, sir.
Any additional questions from any member of council on the information you have heard today or on the information provided in the letter?
Mr. Jernigan, how do you feel about the relocation of the Confederate monument in our city park?
That's a good question, Mr. Hill. However, if we vote to remove it, that's what it needs to do. It needs to be removed. But if we vote to keep it because of history, that's what we need to do. But once we vote, one way or the other, we have to stick to that common goal.
Any other questions?
Mr. Jernigan, now you say you have ran for this position how many times?
If I'm not mistaken, I ran for it at least 3 times, 3 to 4 times. I can't remember. I think I ran against Melinda Moses, and then for a couple of times, then I ran against George Ford. So that was sort of like 3 or 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I hit the ground running, Mr. Hill. That's a good question again. I hit the ground running. I went from door to door, signing petitions, trying to get voters I went door to door. I had signs made, I had T-shirts made, I had flyers. I attended all of the meetings because I really was concerned about the city of Lake City. With that being said, I was unsuccessful. People who did get the job, I was hoping that they stood fast and continued to do the job that we needed for our community.
Any other questions? Okay, do you have any questions of us?
No, sir, I don't think I won't have any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our candidates. Okay, we are to discussion and action by city council. So anybody got any comments or motions? We didn't, we talked about one time, but decided we would just go with discussion. Nomination.
Mayor, council, all of our candidates was impressive, but Mr. Jernigan really got my ear. Like I say, he's ran for the seat several times. He's constantly at these council meetings, trying to figure out what's going on. And my motion is for us to appoint Mr. Jernigan to this seat. And again, the reason why I say that, he's been pretty much in his community, in his district. And again, if we appoint Mr. Jernigan to continue to fill this seat, if the people don't want him, when election time comes, they can vote him out. But he has put his time in to try to get here. And that's my take on it.
Okay, we have a motion. Second. All right. So we had the motion, no second, hearing, so that motion fails for lack of a second. Second now. Any other motions or recommendations?
We passed that motion. Wait a second, man.
For lack of a second right now. There's a motion.
We passed that.
Yes.
But then my next motion will be for Ms. B. Coker. After I've heard what I've heard in support, community support that came out and asked for her. It's difficult to turn against that, and knowing what I had personal contact with her accomplishments and what she's done in the community. I think she would be a good candidate, an excellent candidate. Not taking anything away from the other one. We had some good background. But the community, it seems to me, are asking for her. That's what they want. And as Mr. Hill has said, also it applies to whoever we select. That's not who the district want, but then they had an opportunity to, to get rid of or to vote them out. That's their choice.
Okay, we have a second as to that motion. Okay, if there's no second, then that motion fails too. Maybe we can find a consensus. Right.
Well, Mayor, I'm gonna go back to Mr. Jernigan. Every time Mr. Jernigan ran, he came in second. to my knowledge, the last time he ran against Mr. Green, the race was close. Again, this man have shown this council that he wants this position. He comes to council meeting.
All right.
And it's, again, we're not, what I'm saying, I'm not endorsing Mr. Jernigan. I'm just simply saying that this man has put his time in and shown this council and this community that he wants this job.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
again, like I stated before, I don't like the fact that we have to pick, but that's what the charter says. That's what we need to do. We have a lot of qualified applicants. I think any one of them could run and possibly win that seat. For me, I think it goes to experience. And I heard one person talk about having experience with finance and a finance degree. And I know that's one of the big issues we've had is looking at what's in the budget, what's in finance. So, you know, if I were going to make a motion for someone, it would be for Mr. Douglas. He has experience, he has banking experience. He has experience running a business, which to me is crucial. He's been involved. He's on the Economic Development Council for the county. To me, that's the direction I would go. I think if we discuss it maybe without a motion, I think we can do that the way it's written. Maybe we could figure a way forward. I could see, you know, moving forward with someone like that. Keep in mind, in March, I believe they'll be starting to apply for running for the next election. So it's a short period of time. I know initially when this came open, I'd asked Mr. Coberline if there's a way we could leave this seat open so we didn't have to pick, because I think it's going to be very difficult for us to get a consensus to get 3 votes for someone. It's going to be very difficult. When you have 4 people, there's going to either be a lot of 2-2 or a lot of 1 with no seconds. So for me, for healing and growing forward, I think that would make the most sense for the district.
Okay, is there a second as to that motion? If we can't get a second, we're gonna have to get to a different system and I guess rate them somehow and come up with a different way to do it.
I think the best thing is discussion and come to consensus. I mean, is there a way we can discuss it and, you know, can we come and settle on someone?
Well,
I'd be interested to hear your views as well. I haven't.
Well, I think they're all qualified. They're all worked hard in the community. And that's one thing I wanted was good candidates, and I think they all could do the job. And I'm not sure exactly, you know, I could rank them. I think Mr. Douglas does have the finance background to do it. I think Ms. Coker has been very active in the community. Mr. Jernigan has ran. But, so I don't know how we can, if we can't get a second.
I guess somehow we're gonna have a great break. Okay.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Before I comment on rules of procedure, I think that it would be proper for you to ask if there are any other motions, because there is a candidate left. I don't want to interfere in your process as to the rules. So if you'd entertain any other motions, if there is a motion, you handle it accordingly. And there are not any other motions, then we'll move along with a discussion about your deliberation process.
Okay, is there any other motions? Okay, is there another way to do it that we?
Mayor, being a small board, you're allowed to have some discussion before there's a motion and a second on the floor. Based on what I've heard already, that may or may not help. You also may suspend rules. It requires a second and it requires a 2/3 vote. That may or may not help also. It sounds like you may need to go to a different evaluation system, which you'll need to discuss and vote on, and then implement that evaluation system. I can tell you while you are deliberating or evaluating, you may suspend the rules. You would need a motion, a second, and a 2/3 vote. Even without waiving the rules, you may have discussions before there's a motion and a second, meaning you do not have to wait until the deliberation process. If there are any questions on those concepts, I can speak to them.
No, if I do, then I'm gonna just have to open that to everybody. All right. I think we should rank them and go with the, however they comes out, just rank them 1 to 5, 5 to, how many was it? 6. And that's 4. 4. Be 1 through 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's okay, good. Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
What's going on, Kevin?
Okay, we're discussing it. We're not. Okay, so we're at a standstill. There's been 3 motions and 3 without seconds, so I think we're gonna have to definitely get to a different system. And my suggestion would be that since we didn't do all of that, the rankings with that, just
We were just wondering if there was a chance for public comment now that everyone in the audience has been able to hear all the speakers and we're at a standstill.
I think we'd be here all night. And
We might be here all night anyway, what it looks like.
Why people can't hear?
What's the pleasure of council? Do y'all want to hear from me? Y'all want to decide? Gotta do something.
You have the ranking forms? You have the ranking form?
We have this ranking form, but I would just rank them individually, just do first pick, second, third pick.
High to low, low to high.
What we had before. That's the first one.
You guys responsible for that form to be put up on the screen?
It's the same form as before.
You have a digital one? Is it on the?
Or we don't even use it.
Mr. Mayor, would you allow the candidates to have one more time at the podium, all of us, one more time? That'd be helpful.
Let me ask the council, what's the council want to do? Yes. My idea is we've heard them.
Go ahead and rank.
I
think we should move on to rank.
Rank them.
Rank them.
Yeah. Okay, y'all want to go 5 or 4 is high and 1 is low, or 1's high and then the most low? I'd say we go 4 for the highest, 4 points, and then 3, 2, and 1.
4 being high.
Yeah. Okay. Need a piece of paper. Is that the consensus with everybody? They just pick and refer to the lady.
I am. I took a picture of it and emailed it to myself.
See the one on screen that hangs through the piece of paper. I was like, that's not how it works. I like that. Open it up in.
It was open, yeah, like in Paint or something.
Yeah. Wait, photos would probably be good if you weren't in that already.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Was it in photos? Did it open with it? Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it was
still a resolution.
Yeah.
Wait there. Might be about as good as we can. Maybe.
That might just be about as good as I can
And
do.
I mean,
yes, we could ask the clerk and city manager to go tabulate them and come back with the rankings.
Mayor, would you please ensure that each ballot has some initials or a name on them?
Right.
Thank
Not yet. I'm trying to figure out, so is the idea that at the end of this score is gonna tie us to that pick?
Yep.
I don't think I'm for that. I'm, because it can be manipulated too easy, like I said, when we were picking it before.
Right.
I think we need to discuss it and come to some consensus where we can get 3 people on the same team. Because there's some, I mean, it can be manipulated. There's a way one person can make it where somebody can't get picked, and I don't think that's right. So I think we need to collectively discuss it and say, you know, this is the way we can go. I mean, that would be my idea. I don't know if we go to a ranking system that I'm going to rank everybody. Maybe I don't rank anybody. They get a 0, then I, throws it off. And I think we saw that before when we did the city manager hiring the last time, and it was manipulated that way to get Mr. Helfenberger. And so I think there's some concern there. I'd be open to hearing from Mr. Jefferson to see if there's a way. I mean,
You know what I can do? I can print it as a PDF.
like, so we all know who our top picks were, other than the mayor. So who would be your second pick? That might be the question. If people's willing to work that way, because I think, like I said, when I spoke with Mr. Coberline in the past, I don't know that we get to a 3-person majority at all, because there's some people on here,
My second choice would be Ms. Chastain. Specifically, what are you guys gonna?
Just if you're the first person you nominated, then who would be the second choice?
Wait on my answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure. Yes, me.
Can you answer it?
Yeah. He said, Mr. Attorney, you will be the second choice.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would think,
I just
and Mr. Mayor, have you said first or second choice?
Well, I guess, the 2 I could go along with is, Ms. Coker and Mr. Douglas would be my first 2.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Douglas is my first, and probably my second would be Ms. Chastain. So I think we've all said our first and second. Now, is there any way we can go from here to get consensus to get a second to vote for someone? I still feel strongly that the finance background, I know we all feel strong about our first choice, obviously.
Right.
You know, or maybe we need to motion, have a second for discussion on an individual candidate and vote them up or down, and then if they're voted down, then we eliminate them from the vote possibly. That might make sense too. I mean, but at least it would eliminate people that have no opportunity to get to 3 votes.
I'm not sure I understand the process.
Well, so there's 4 candidates. There's 4 of us. So if each person has a separate pick and there's no second, we're never going to get to 3. Now, if we do the ranking and commit to that, it's possible that regardless how this comes out, we may or may not still get to a majority. Because I'm not willing to commit to the ranking system. I mean, I can be voted down on that too. That's fine, but that's up for everybody to determine on their own. And so my idea was maybe we could revisit some motions we made, see if we get a second, and then go from there and vote them up or down.
Okay. Well, we can.
I mean, if we could try the ranking and see how the ranking comes out, but I mean, I'm not going along with it. So, I mean, I'm just not going to vote for it. That doesn't mean you couldn't vote in majority 3-1 to do that.
Well, what if we did the ranking and like committed to it, we still would need that relationship is where we're at.
That might be possible too. At least then we might have a consensus
of where we're at.
I don't see the benefit of doing the ranking if we're not gonna be committed to it. Again,
Well, just show
we can't do that for trial.
who got the most votes. But I think everybody would have to vote 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think we could get 0.
We can try and see how it comes out.
With the ranking? Yeah.
We can try and see.
Just see how the numbers come out.
Mayor, did anybody speak or? Up there?
We're gonna give these to unless they want to make a motion to do that, then that will entertain a motion if anybody on the council. Right now, we're doing rankings.
Only on a suggestion or anything, you can't say nothing? Suggestion?
No, because if we do, then everybody gets to speak, and then we'll, like I say, we're trying to get something going here.
We just talking about the 4 candidates, we're not talking about anybody else. Yeah.
Okay.
Included in the discussion as, even though I removed myself from my situation.
Right. Well, let's see what we can do with this first.
That's what you want to do? Mayor, this is you.
Yeah. You signed it. Okay.
Did you get 4, 3, 2, 1?
Well,
I need a 4, 3, 2, 1. Please.
Is everybody doing that thing or just a piece of paper?
blank piece of paper.
4, 3, 2, 1. Got it.
So far, this is good information.
Right.
TV.
Different.
So everybody's ranking them 4, 3, 2, 1, just in that order.
That's boring. Yeah, that's still boring. It's still boring. Yes. See. The appraiser say, hey, that looks good.
You got them.
What on Mr. Jefferson?
Because you fill out that sheet, or he just like.
He's got it.
Mr. Jefferson, are you ranking them?
1 to 4.
No, I told them up. That's what you said.
No, we're just gonna do 4, 3, 2, 1. Your fourth would be your favorite, and then down like that.
Okay.
Do you need a piece of paper?
Thing. Give me another bit of sheet there. Wait.
Yep. Would you like Fred to look over these before I give you the totals, Mr. Williams?
Okay, in what order did you want?
4 would be the highest, your favorite, 3, 2, 1.
Would you like me to have a look at them?
Either one, Mr. Williams. Yes.
Did you sign, Mr. Jefferson? You signed back?
Oh, Tracy, turn it off.
No, I have it muted.
Oh, Those not public records.
Yeah.
Turn the camera to me.
They might need a calculator.
Get done. Get done.
I take my shoe off.
Are you ready?
We announce them or
You want to announce, came out?
we have, we're gonna go in alphabetical order. So we have Chastain, total points 9. Coker, total points 9. Douglas, total points 12. Jernigan, total points 10.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to appoint Mr. Douglas as City Councilman District 14 based on the ranking that we did.
Is there a second?
Exactly.
That's procedure we use.
Mr. Jefferson, did you second that motion?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Okay. It was 9, Chastain 9, Coker 9, Douglas 12, and Jernigan 10. Okay, so there's been a motion and a second, any discussion by council? Ms. Oxley, call the roll.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson,
Yes.
Mr. Hill? Is that a no?
No.
Mayor Witt?
Yes. Alright. Alright, so, chosen Mr. Douglas, and, I think that completes that process. Anything else of council?
Mayor, would you like to make sure he knows he will be sworn in on Monday night?
Mr. Douglas,
Yes, sir, I got you. Thank you.
we will be, having a meeting Monday, and you'll be sworn in on Monday night.
Now, all of these, you need to just wait on.
I need all the vote sheets
That's all.
and everything that you wrote on.
Wait, let me make sure that's all of this. Say that we were adjourned? You can read it. Okay, go ahead, sign them. We adjourned? We're adjourned.
None of them left yet, so I think he was.
Well, I know I signed the other thing.
Yes, it's better to be safe rather than cut it off early. People get worried.
I need you to say it. I need you to say it in the microphone.
Thank you very much.
What's that? We are adjourned.